Buongiorno, my name is Kyle Kielmeister. As you can see behind me, our copper field is growing quite quick. One day I'm sure it will take over the entire mountain region, but for now, it's growing nice and steady. Today, we are going to start on a project I'm really excited to work on. I want to build a place for all those villagers that we got from the last episode. If you haven't seen that episode, definitely go check it out. I want the town to be aesthetically pleasing, but also have some functionality hiding some of the future storage and automatic farms we'll build. So, let's jump into it. Actually, before we can do any building, we need to clear out an area for the town. And I picked this area behind the house next to the lake and the villager breeder. I picked this area because it was close enough to transport the villagers, but also because there's a ravine nearby, which I thought would look amazing if we decorated it and spruced it up a little bit. So I began clearing out a large area so I can get a general idea of the size that I want and the shape and flow of the city we're going for. And there you go, we got all the trees cleared out and we're left with a nice open canvas to start our city layout. I kept most of the large trees because I would like to implement them naturally into the build. Here's the ravine I was talking about. I think I can make the city blend well into this cave area, either make it a secondary city down there, or use it as the city's main resources. I marked out the layout I wanted for the town. The red wool represents the walls and the roads I was going for, and other color wools are kind of just representing buildings or structures that I was playing around with. I want the overall city to feel kind of claustrophobic or condensed, so I added in a few alleyways that lead to background parts, so things like the shoreline, marketplaces, maybe some potential farms. Then I built another alleyway that leads to the town square, I guess more of a circle. But there are other pathways that lead again to the shore, others that lead to like the ravine. If we come back, we can see another path that leads to another mining area. If we continue on, there's a road that leads to a secondary entrance to the city, which really worked well with the terrain. I plan to build a similar entrance to the other side, so nothing too crazy. Down here's a little natural dip, and I plan to use this area as kind of a grungy theme with poor shops and like knickknacks. Here's an overview of the ravine. Not really a safe place to walk, but it is a path that some people can take if they need to get to the other side of the city fast. And that's kind of a general overview of the city. I think once we start adding buildings and make it more compact, it'll really start looking nice and just busy and full of life. So I needed to start collecting all the resources I needed, which was a lot. Since I'm still new to the world, I basically needed to collect all the supplies I needed for every part of the build today. So I went out chopping down spruce trees from a nearby taiga, then I went swimming through a river for clay. I smelted the clay into bricks, which will be a fundamental component of the walls that we're building today. I threw in some clay before I set out looking for the biomes I needed to find. Oh yeah, and after the first night of exploring, this happened. I panicked when a creeper snuck up behind me and threw my pickaxe into the explosion hole. I tried hard to not let the second creeper blow it up, and then I went to go pick up that pickaxe. I started chopping down the dark oak I needed. And did you know that zombies can drop cooked potatoes? I know they can drop potatoes, but I was wondering if it was cooked because he burned when he died. Just a weird fact, I guess. With that, I headed back and crafted some more bricks. This time I went exploring in the opposite direction to see if I could find some of the other biomes I needed. And I came across a group of pigs that happened to have baby piggies. Then when I was leaving the swamp, I took a dip into the water and noticed the visibility and color is completely different. I think that's a really cool feature they added, and I really like it a lot. When I continued on, I saw this weird natural dirt pillar that spawned, so I went to go take a look at it, and behind it I saw there was a desert, which is exactly what I was looking for. On the coast I saw a big structure, so I went to go check it out, and it was this giant ancient portal thing. I've never seen it before. I also found some desert bunnies, which hopped extremely fast, and it was really hard to keep up with where they were going, but then this one just jumped to its own death. Kinda weird. I dug out some sand and sandstone, which is why I initially came to this area, and I needed a lot of it for the build today. On a separate exploration trip, I found a sunken ship with moss in it. I needed moss because I wanted to collect the blooming leaves that you can get from it. Afterwards, I went to the Nether to collect some of the last materials I needed, and just so happened to get a wither skeleton skull. I continued on and gathered the blue trees from the Nether, and plenty of glowstone. I finished up crafting all the random items I needed for today's build. And there you go, our layout is done, looking good, and we've collected all the materials we'll need to begin the build today of the outer wall. I even collected materials for the building of the road. Unfortunately, the terrain is still not ideal for what I want it to be, so I need to begin terraforming some of the surrounding area to lower a few levels off, and also just smooth out some of the terrain so it looks a little bit more natural. With that, let's start building.
This time it's not about escaping. We don't feel like it. We don't feel like it. 'Cause we don't feel like throwing it all away. We don't feel like it. We both have thoughts of leaving when thoughts get thrown around. But we keep going on believing and on till we're all cried out. 'Cause we don't feel like throwing it all away.
I think that looks great. Lots of colors, small details that make the wall pop and have character. It has almost an Italian feel to it. Everything came together quite well. I didn't quite finish up the entire wall because I don't have enough resources. Specifically, the iron for the anvils was really costly, but we'll slowly chip away at it over time. Also, the end here, I was kind of having problems capping it off to make it look kind of normal or natural, so I'll have to work at that over time too. Otherwise, it's looking good. I just need to expand it all the way out to the other entrance, which is a lot of work, and we'll have to do that some other time. But before I end the episode, I do want to start adding in some of the roads that lead up to the town. And just like that, it's done. I have a road that connects up my house with the nether portal, and if we continue on, it connects up to the farm, and even further, it connects up to the beautiful wall and eventual village that we'll build there. It really just came all together. Well, that'll be it for the episode. We got a lot done, and I'm very pleased with how it turned out. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, take care.
We don't feel